All right, well, if you're here with me now, you've probably seen the job posting. You may have some questions. My name is Mike Boucher. I'm the Director of Business Development at Moderno Porcelain Works. And the goal here is to share a little bit more information about this awesome opportunity we have, and some more specifics about the role, and a lot about Moderno and who we're looking for. So, first and foremost, I'd like to kind of introduce you to our executive team, the king of culture, the man himself, Roberto Contreras. Roberto largely was responsible for bringing quartz surfacing to the market in the early 90s. It's not his first rodeo in terms of innovation and doing something new in the surfacing business. And we're really fortunate to have him as the visionary of our company and the guy at the tip of the spear kind of leading the charge. So next up is my boss, Mike HEYLMUN. I'm going to keep it all positive for the purpose of this video. Just kidding, Mike. Mike was kind of working hand in hand and side by side with Roberto as they introduced quartz surfacing to the North American market in the early 90s. Some of the big takeaways, he developed and managed the introduction of the first kind of national rollout for a national retailer. And that really changed the trajectory of their company at the time. And there's some parallels to this role and what we're trying to do today. You know, after his time in the quartz surfacing business, he went on to some commercial construction, leveraged his abilities there, and helped a good friend of his go from about, I think it was 6 markets to 16 over the course of about a year and a half, and about doubled their revenue. So we're happy to have Mike. Mr. Dillard, Doug Dillard. So Doug is our Chief Financial Officer. And with Doug, it's about so much more than the numbers and the P&L. You know, what's really great about Doug after working with him for the last 3 years is the numbers just give him insight into the business. And after that, man, he is all psychologist, right? He is working with the GMs on a day-to-day basis, you know, using that keen sense and that feel for what's going on to really keep people on track and to help the growth. So we're just really fortunate to have Doug, and he's one of my favorites. Okay, then there's this goofball. This is Mike Boucher. This is me. I'm the Director of Business Development. Basically, for the purpose of this presentation, the main takeaway here is you'll notice I do not come from the surfacing business. Prior to this, I spent almost a decade in the residential mortgage business, and I was Moderno's first general manager. I've overseen really the first 640 porcelain installations of Moderno, and I'm now responsible for developing the project specialist role. Why do I say there's a big takeaway here? Because, you know, I have colleagues right now as we develop this role that feel that we need people with a strong construction background. I think that helps, but I didn't, right? I think that a lot of the technical side can be trained, and the rest of it is just being able to think, right? Think critically, problem solve, communicate with customers, set the right expectations. So if you can do those things, it really doesn't matter too much if you have a ton of construction experience or not. I think if you've got a great attitude, you're ready to get after it, you're ready to go get what's yours, we can work with that, and yeah. So a little bit about Moderno growth. So just 3 years ago, we were operational about May 2019. And at that time, there was one location. There was a Houston location. And from that time to now, we are Houston, Central Texas, South Florida, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Dallas, Albuquerque, very soon. It's imminent, just waiting on a building. Orlando, Los Angeles, San Diego. So that's 9, is that 9? 9 in 3 years. And so it's been really fun to be a part of that. It's been super exciting to watch it happen. the goal is 60 locations nationwide. And so why that number? What's so special about 60? Well, it's not so much 60 is really special. What we're trying to accomplish is being able to service every market in North America, like, and it's repeatable, right? Like, it's consistent. You have the customers would have the same experience in Los Angeles as they'd have in New York, as they'd have in Seattle, as they'd have in Houston. So that's really the goal. You know, think Amazon, think if someone goes online to buy countertops or to redo a shower, there's really not a place where you can do that. I mean, you can certainly go online, people have quoting tools, and you can get in touch with companies using online tools, but to be able to have one company provide a service from cradle to grave in any market is something really special. And that's our Super Bowl. That's what we're going for right now. So just to kind of illustrate some of the growth that we've experienced over the last 3 years. Houston, because I come from Houston and I have access to that data pretty easily. So if we look at Houston location, 2019, first year of this, about 6 months of operations, we did a little under 50 installations that year. Okay. Now fast forward to 2020, our first full year, we did about just under 250 porcelain installations. Okay. And keep in mind, you know, these are all kinds of installations. These are commercial installations, these are showers, floors, walls, a lot of countertops. So this is everything. Then fast forward another year, this year, 2021, we haven't finished yet. It's October, and we're at about 350 installations so far. So all told, here in Houston, we're about 650 installations since May 2019. It's crazy to think about, you know. It's like when you stop and you're like, wow, that ramped up really quickly. It felt like a really long time, but looking back on it, it's really not so long. So we talked a little bit about the goal in terms of growth. We talked about those 60 locations. You know, there's a huge gap in the marketplace when it comes to large format porcelain. Typically, when you talk to people in the marketplace, like if you talk to a stone fabricator, you'll get kind of two answers. One is, oh, you know, don't touch porcelain, it breaks easy, it chips. Or you'll have stone fabricators who really know what they're doing, and they'll understand there's a huge opportunity there, and they'll do it, but the price is probably a lot higher than it needs to be. So we're just laser focused on porcelain. It's all that we do because there's a huge pull for this material. The design community gets it. It's a wonderful aesthetic. You really bypass, you know, when you do slab work on a vertical application, for example, using traditional materials, 2 centimeter materials, mechanical anchoring systems, you got to find someone who knows what they're doing. It becomes really prohibitive. And with these thinner, larger materials, there's an opportunity where you can provide that really elevated design at a great value. And so that's where we're trying to be. So really, it's what's different about Moderno than other material manufacturers is, one, well, we're a fabricator installer, right? We don't manufacture materials. About 30% of our business today is materials that we don't stock, right? We go out, we buy from distributors, and we install those because that's what our customers want. That's fine. So what makes Moderno really special is that for us, it's all about the people. We understand that if we're going to get to 60 locations nationally, we can't recruit that fast, right? There has to be organic growth there. We have to develop our own people. You know, being at the first location, even just in the last 3 years, to watch employees start at an apprentice level as a helper, and then eventually become a lead installer and drive their own truck and get their own tools, and then they start teaching the next cohort. That's something really special, and I think that it's a huge reason of why I'm here. Well, big shout out to our HR team for this slide right here. Vero, Rafa, Carlos, thank you. Moderno beliefs. I think these are all true as I look over these. Bracing big challenges. We have not shied away from a lot of challenges, even at the job level. Obviously, we like setting big goals. 60 locations is a lot of locations. But even if you look at the hubs on a day-to-day basis and their operations, when we started in May 2019, by that December, we were doing commercial work. And there were some situations where we were probably underqualified. But we went out, we got training, we figured out the proper way to do these things, and we made it happen. And so that's really gratifying. And so that's kind of part of our belief system, taking on those big challenges, not backing down, doing it the right way, not walking off a job, seeing it through no matter what. Obviously, to get to 60 locations, a big piece of that is we got to have happy customers, right? A huge part of what we do is providing a referable experience, right? And so that comes from kind of the exploring a potential fit stage with our sales folks, and defining a scope of work, selecting colors, and getting an estimate in a timely manner, and our measure tech setting the right expectations for the job, and the production team doing it right, and the installers being courteous and super professional on the job site. All that is kind of a big part of our customer satisfaction. We're not satisfied with anything less than doing the best job possible. So let's say you watch this video and you get to the end and you feel like, yeah, I think I want to take the next step. I want to explore this a little bit further. And so you do that, and you take the test at the end. You'll see the link at the end of this video, and you go through the interview process, and we're going to do it. We're partnering. We're going to go down the road together. So what does the first 30 days look like? I think it's a really important thing to talk about, because in my experience, when people don't succeed in a role, a lot of times it's because there's not a plan, right? The organization has a direction it wants to go in. It identifies a role that it needs, but there's not a plan to get those people successful. And so we put a lot of thought and resources into this part of it. Obviously, there's a huge technical component that is going to require just a week of paid training time I don't know if it'll be at the corporate location or at the local hubs, but there will be a week where we sit down and hash out all the technical knowledge that you'll need to evaluate a job. We also have a sales training program, and during that first week, we've kind of got some modules. You'll watch your first modules 1 and 2 before you come to training. Modules 3 and 4 we'll do together during that first week. So going into week 2, this is basically you're going to do joint project consults with your mentor. So what that looks like is you're shadowing. So there's leads coming in. Your mentor is doing a discovery call, calling these leads, setting the appointment, going to the project consult. You're going to be there with them. You're going to see how it all goes down. You're going to see the developing of that project with the customer real time, and you'll be able to take notes and kind of debrief as it's all happening. And then you'll also, during that week, complete the next 3 modules in your training course. So we're getting a little bit further in at this point. Week 3, feeling comfortable, feeling part of the team. Now it's time for you to start doing the discovery calls. So basically, leads come in. You take the lead, you call the customer, you complete your discovery call, you set the appointment. You'll go to the project consult with your mentor, and the mentor at that point will take the lead on the project consult, right? And then finally, week 4. So week 4, it's time. We're gonna cut you loose. The mentor is gonna take the back seat. The new hire will be conducting the discovery calls, setting the appointments, and doing the project consult. So you've got a week there where you can kind of ease in. You know that someone's there to have your back. If you get a question out of left field that you don't know the answer for, you've got someone there that can help support you. So that's kind of what the first 30 days looks like. Well, first and foremost, here at Moderno, we're a meritocracy. And so we talked about kind of that career progression and how we're going to need organic growth to get where we need to be. And so how do we identify who's going to move up? Well, the ones that are working the hardest, playing by the rules, have the right intangibles, those are the people that are going to move up. We're not looking for people that are just looking for a paycheck. Specifically for the project specialist role, I would tell you that if you're looking for something comfortable, this is not for you. It is a lot of responsibility to go on a job and define a scope of work and set expectations and collect that check and shepherd that project through until completion and then collect the open balance. It's a lot of responsibility. So if you're just looking for a paycheck, you can just adios. We'll see you next time. What we're really looking for is people with an ambition to earn for the project specialist role. There's a lot of upside with this role. We're providing leads. It's up to you to go out and capture those leads and turn it into business and take care of our customers. We're looking for people that succeed in a competitive, performance-based environment. So I would say people with an athletic background would be a great fit. If you played sports growing up or at a competitive level, that would bode really well for this role. Veterans, I'm a veteran myself. I can tell you that the experiences that you have in the service will definitely bode well for this role as well. We're looking for people that are adaptable and confident and outstanding communication skills. So, you know, the thing is we deal with people from all walks of life, and it's an awesome part of this role. But it's just super important that you're communicating very clearly and professionally with everyone that you come across. So that's a big part of this. So that's really in a nutshell kind of the ideal attributes that we're looking for in this role, in this team member. So like I said, next step from here, at the end of this video, click the link, take the test. From there, there'll be probably a phone interview, and then we'll schedule a face-to-face. If you have any questions, I'm going to put the email up here on the screen, info@modernoworks.com. There's a direct line that will actually take you to the Houston location. You can ask for Mike if you want to talk to me. That's great. And you can always get more information and check out the job listing at modernoworks.com. I believe the job description is up there, so that should help if you clarify anything that you may have further questions on. And thanks for your time today.